thousands of immigrants to be evacuated from their temporary housing on Tuesday.
Yeah, rain, high winds pushing through New York City, as Max was talking about, forcing hundreds of those families to take shelter inside of a high school, which is now closed to students today. And that has a lot of parents fighting mad. Dre Clark joins us from New York City this morning with more on this. Dre?
Ladies, good morning. We're told the migrants have now left the high school here behind me. They were hustled out of the building at around 4 o'clock this morning before all of the cameras could arrive here. But in just a few hours, a New York State assemblyman, along with students as well as parents, will be holding a rally and protest here outside the school. They're upset about the city's decision to allow the migrants to stay here at the school overnight, closing the school and forcing students to do remote learning from home today. Now, the migrants stayed inside the gymnasium here at James Madison High School overnight, and they will not be here again when that protest happens later this morning. Tuesday, New York City Mayor Eric Adams abruptly announced the city would be moving 2,000 people, including some 500 migrant families, from Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn to the high school, where they would ride out a serious winter storm overnight, and they'd return to Floyd Bennett Field this morning. There was concern tents set up at the temporary shelter would not weather the high winds and heavy rain. Several city leaders say the mayor's decision to move the migrants is wasting taxpayer money because he was warned that Floyd Bennett Field is notoriously known for flooding. Meanwhile, parents with students attending the high school say they got a phone call and an email Tuesday telling them the school would be closed today to accommodate migrants and their kids would be assigned classes online. The announcement angering parents and students who feel they were displaced with no consideration of the hardship it would create for families. Now, the city spokesperson had this to say, I'm quoting here, "The health and safety of migrants in our care is always a top priority, which is why we are currently overseeing the relocation of 1,900 guests from the Humanitarian Emergency Response and Relief Center at Floyd Bennett Field due to an updated forecast with increased winds estimated to be at more than 70 miles per hour tonight." Now, all of this is happening as the city has started evicting migrant families staying at shelters across the city, including the Row Hotel right here in Manhattan. The families were given notice 2 months ago they needed to find alternative housing. The city sent out more than 5,000 eviction notices to migrant families, so more families will be forced to move in the days and weeks ahead. Back here now live outside James Madison High School, some city council members say this could become the norm because we are still early on in the wintertime, so more perhaps extreme weather could be on the way. And that means if that happens, those migrants would have to be moved again. And they say every time that happens, it's costing the city a lot of money to do. Adrienne?
So I have a question for you. Are the people who are being evicted from the hotels just moving to other shelters like the ones that are not stable enough for winter conditions?
Not necessarily. It's a tricky dynamic here. They are given those notices. They're told they have to leave to find other housing. If they can find housing, they have to go back to the intake center in Lower Manhattan and try to reapply for housing. I would imagine those who are families with young children will get first priority, but the city says right now they have limited space and more migrants are coming in every day with families, so they have to do something. So some of those people may very well end up sleeping on the street.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.